Everyone, how are you today? Good afternoon. Um, I'd like to thank Rodley Ferguson, Richard Abel, other members of the Black Graduate Student Association, the administrators here from Student Life and Student Development who invited us, the BMI program, to come and talk a little bit about the program that is available here at CUNY throughout the university and certainly here on the CCNY campus. I realize I'm going to be on the panel discussion later on, so I'm just going to briefly give an overview of this university-wide program that is geared and targeted towards students from populations that are severely underrepresented in higher education. The idea for a Black Male Initiative program here at the City University of New York began at Medgar Evers College, a CUNY college in central Brooklyn, under the leadership of the former president, Edison L. Jackson, who identified a number of issues in higher education that I think we all should be concerned about, including the declining enrollment numbers of African American and Latino males in particular in higher education, and the fact that there's also a very significant gender disparity in enrollment numbers. Of course, we all know that there are more women than men in higher education nowadays, and that's a very positive development as a result of the civil rights movement, as a result of the women's rights movement. But if you look at certain populations there, the disparities in enrollment numbers should cause us all to be very concerned. This isn't only an issue at CUNY or at CCNY. This is an issue throughout higher education, particularly at HBCUs. 2 years ago, for instance, the entering class at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee was 75% women, 25% men. Howard University has created a Black Male Initiative program. Philander Smith in Arkansas has created a Black Male Initiative program. So this is a trend throughout higher education that you're seeing institutions responding to this issue of the declining enrollment numbers of African American and Latino males in particular in higher education. Here at CUNY, the university has followed some of the positive results that were posted at Medgar Evers College as a result of strategies implemented in the late 90s or early 2000 by President Jackson at Medgar Evers. Some of these strategies have been replicated throughout the university given the increasing enrollment numbers and retention and graduation rates for students, particularly Black male students at Medgar Evers College. In 2005, the university created a university-wide Black Male Initiative program that has the support of the CUNY Board of Trustees and the Chancellor of the university. That year, the Chancellor's office issued a task force report. I have a copy of that force report, and it's also on our CUNY BMI website, which I'll talk about later. And that task force report is separated into 4 chapters, and one chapter is on K through 12 issues, and I think that it's important for us to realize that maybe some of the declining enrollment numbers that we're seeing throughout higher education for this population is due to very high dropout rates that we're seeing in public schools, particularly public high schools throughout the nation. And those dropout rates are even higher for the African American male population. Here in New York, there's about a 50% dropout rate for New York City public high schools. For African American males, the dropout rate is 67%. So that means that we have as many as 67% of our young people who are not making it through the traditional K through 12 education pipeline to college. And then once they enroll in college, we see that there are retention and graduation issues at the college level as well. The CUNY BMI Task Force report deals with some of those issues. We took the task force report and presented it to the City Council. I know that Councilmember Rodriguez will be speaking later on. The City Council was generous enough in 2005 to give us funding to support this program. We created 14 demonstration projects throughout the university in 2005 with our initial funding. That was about $2 million. They're mostly student development and mentorship projects because we know mentorship is the key to increasing graduation rates and retention rates for students from all populations, but this population in particular. Since then, our program has grown to be now a $2.5 million program that funds 27 student development projects throughout the university. We fund 2 projects here at CCNY, one at the Sophie Davis School of Biomedical Education, and one here, which is the Black Male Leadership and Mentorship project that Richard Abel, Professor Claude Braithwaite, and other faculty members, professors are members of here at CCNY. Over the course of years, we've been able to post very good retention and graduation numbers for the students who participate in our funded projects throughout the university. So I'm here today to talk a little bit more about the projects that we have here at CCNY, to encourage as much student participation as possible, because we believe that the efforts that we support throughout the university and here at CCNY will contribute to student success of all students here at CCNY, but in particular these underrepresented populations with a focus on African American and Latino males. So thank you so much for inviting me to participate today, and I'm looking forward to participating in the panel discussion.